Hello and welcome to First Class eLearning's information sessions for teachers and tutors. This session is the first of several short tutorials to introduce teachers and tutors to the online classroom and to familiarize you with how to effectively use the online classroom to help you with your tutoring and teaching. As you will see, the online classroom is a very powerful teaching environment that you can use to do pretty much everything that you would do in a regular classroom. This presentation will give you a brief overview of the online classroom and the different features that are available. As you will see, the online classroom is designed to be user-friendly and it is very easy to use. All tutors will be given your own online classroom to use during tutoring sessions. Located on the top of the online classroom is the main menu and the taskbar. Along the taskbar are a number of buttons which, when you click on them, will give you different options. I will not be going into detail about these features in this session. Instead, I'll be talking about those features in more detail in other tutorials. On the left side of the room is the participants area. This is the area which shows all the participants in the room, including the tutor or teacher and any students who are in attendance. Underneath the participants area is a text chat box. Here you can type anything that you want to say into the text window and then you just press enter on your keyboard. Immediately, all the participants in the room will be able to see what you typed. This option is especially important if for some reason the student's audio is not working correctly. Then this is just another way of communicating between the students and the tutor. Above the participants list are action buttons. These buttons do the exact actions as shown by the images. For example, when you click on a smiley face, you will see a smile. When you click on the hands, you will see applause, and so on. Also, near the action buttons, you will see a blue arrow. This blue arrow that's pointing to the right enables you to show that you are away from your computer. So when you click on it, it shows that you are away or that you're not ready to yet begin the session. Often tutors will come on early to set things up on the whiteboards so that everything is ready for the session. And then when you are ready, you can just click the blue arrow again and it will show that you're ready to start. Over to the right is the whiteboard, and this is a very important part of the virtual classroom. It covers the greatest part of the window, and all of the slideshows, drawings, and images are displayed on it. It also can be turned into a synchronized web browser, which means that you can share any website that's on the internet with the participants in the room. On the left side of the whiteboard is a drawing toolbox, which has many features which will be described in more detail in another video, in which you will be shown how to use them. Please note that students do not have access to the drawing toolbox unless they have been given permission by the tutor. So this is something that you have to remember to do if you want the student to interact on the whiteboard. As mentioned earlier, the main menu and taskbar for the moderators is located on the top part of the virtual classroom. Here you have many options to choose from to help your sessions go well. So I'm just going to highlight some of the buttons and give a very brief description of what each one does. The first button, the wrench, is used to test the audio, and clicking on it will bring forth the audio setup wizard. The audio wizard is a very important part of the virtual classroom. It allows you to test your audio to see if it's working properly, and it will help you to set up your audio if you are encountering difficulties. I will demonstrate how that works in another tutorial that will focus on the audio. The next button brings forth the presentations library. This library is where you may store resources which you wish to use in your sessions. For example, any PowerPoint presentations, Word documents, files, images. Here you can upload whatever resources that you have. Then they are there at your fingertips when you want to use them. And please note that these resources will remain in your classroom unless you decide to remove them. It doesn't matter where you access the internet from. Everything that you upload to your classroom, whether it's a PowerPoint presentation, an image, a document, another file, they will all be there ready for you to use. Next is the file sharing folder. Here you can store files that you wish to share with students. And then you just select a file or document and send it to the student, who then has the option to either accept it or not. The next button is the whiteboard button. Clicking on the whiteboard button, which is the button that has the ABC letters on it, this feature will just bring you back to the whiteboard if, for example, you have been using another feature. So, for example, if you were using the web browser button. Here you can type in the address of an internet website and then share the browsing of the site with the participant. Whatever you show on the whiteboard will instantly be seen on the participant screen as well. And you can upload web addresses so that they're already there and they don't need to be typed in. Or if you have a website and on the fly you would just like to type it in this area right here, then you would just type in the address and click reload and you will get your website on the screen. Okay, now I'm going back to the whiteboard. So when I click on the button with the ABCs, it brings me back to the whiteboard. The next button is the screen sharing button, and this is a very important component of the virtual classroom. As you become comfortable with using different classroom features, this is one that you will most likely find particularly useful. Here you have the option of sharing your desktop or sharing any program or application on your computer with the participants. It's not necessary for students to have that particular program on their computers when you are in the screen sharing mode. Students will be able to see what is on your computer and watch you interacting with it. You can also give a student remote control so that he or she can interact with the program as well. So I'm just going to demonstrate. I have a program that's running in the background behind the classroom. So I'm just going to click on screen sharing. And then you will see Microsoft Word. So even if students do not have Microsoft Word on their computers, you can still share with the student and you can give remote access so that they can interact with the Word program during the tutoring session. So if you were teaching a student, for example, about word processing, then this is a good feature to use. Now I'm just going to click on to stop the screen from sharing and go back to the online classroom. The next three buttons are the notes, polling, and the breakout rooms. These buttons are mainly used when you are working with more than one student. For example, small groups of 4 or 5 students. So I will not be talking about these features in this presentation. This will be the focus of another tutorial. The last button, with the 4 white arrows in the corners, gives you the option of having the whiteboard expanding to full screen mode. So I'm going to click on that button and then you will see the whiteboard as expanded for the full screen. And this is particularly useful, for example, if you were working out the answer to a math problem, and this would give you lots of space on the whiteboard. You can also, there are also some zooming tools. I'm just going to click on these, to show what happens. You can make pictures larger or smaller. And these are useful, you will find, when you are working with certain worksheets, for example, that you upload to the whiteboard. And you just use whatever works best for you. Finally, just going to get back to the main menu for just a moment before I finish this session. The buttons on the taskbar, on the main menu, for example, when you click on them, you will get a drop-down menu which has many different features on it that will assist you when you are doing a tutoring session. I just want to talk about one of these right now, and that's the user control button. And I'm going to highlight a student's name and then click on the user control, because when a student first comes into a classroom, they do not have access to the microphone, for example. So this is something that you would have to give permission to the student to be able to use, to enable the microphone. Also, to use the drawing tools, you would have to give permission by clicking on Allow Whiteboard Control. Please don't be overwhelmed with all the many different features and options. Just start with knowing how to use the whiteboard and go from there. You may find that this is pretty much all that you need to do to effectively tutor a lesson. However, in time, you may want to try out some other features, and you can choose to use them to enhance your teaching. Basically, it depends on the purpose of your session and what it is that you're trying to teach. For more information on the uses of each button on the taskbar and the features on the main menu, be sure to watch the other tutorials on the individual features and how they work. As well, you can read the handbook for tutors. And I'm just going to bring this up so that you can see. You will be sent a link to this web page, which contains our information handbook for tutors. And then you can access the information by clicking on HTML, which will just take you to online, a website, in which you can then read the information. Or you also have the option of downloading the handbook in the form of a PDF file, so that if you want to, you can print it off. So I'm just going to click on just to show you some of the different things that are included in the handbook. And there's a huge list of different options, features there that are described in detail. And also, there is a tips for tutoring. And these are tips that will help your tutoring sessions go smoothly. There's a lot of good suggestions there. So these are things that you can use to help you in your tutoring sessions. This concludes the introductory session on the different features of the online classroom. Remember, it's just a brief overview, and to view more details about each feature, be sure to watch the other tutorials. These tutorials are short in length, with most of them lasting about a couple of minutes for each session. Thank you for watching this video.